Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, this is going to be the first of 3 shows. This is going to be this show. I'm going to do a show about the news, and then I'm going to do a recap of Freedom Fest. I do want everybody to know how much I appreciate the attendance at Freedom Fest and all the healthcare workers that I got to meet. It's humbling. I also want all of you to know that I slept really good Saturday night, and then I got up and began work on the task at hand. And we have some major announcements to make today. By the way, before I do, I saw an obituary of Dr. Peter Charles Pedora passed away in Colorado. He was only 70 years old. Do you know who he is? He was a vascular surgeon at Christ Hospital who filed a whistleblower lawsuit against Christ Hospital, which Christ Hospital had to settle for lots of money. You know what it was for? They're doing unnecessary cardiac procedures. I have information from nurses that Tri Health in one of their departments has a surgeon doing unnecessary procedures. I hope your blood runs cold, Tri Health, because I know the name of the doctor, and we're coming for you. Just like Dr. Durrani did unnecessary spine surgeries. Why do I say all these things? I say all these things because everybody acts like we're supposed to trust these places. We're supposed to walk lockstep with corporate health care in this country when they do all these things. One of the neatest things about Freedom Fest that happened was I think it changed my wife's politics. My wife attended the event from 6 o'clock on, and it affected my wife. My wife was blown away by the crowd, the speakers, the message, and you know what else she says to me? She says to me, Eric, by the way, she's fully vaccinated, and she doesn't share my politics until now, I think. You know, she said, Eric, I'm blown away that they want us to trust the government on the vaccination, and this has been an issue for her. She says, when the government is allowed the manipulation of our food with genomes and all the stuff that's been placed in our food to make all of America fat, the obesity. You've seen those documentaries about how the government and our food, look how we look now. Did we look this way in the 1960s as a group? Nope. It all began in the 1970s forward. Look what they did to our food. Look at the obesity and diabetes problem in this country. And by the way, they're the ones that are dying from COVID. So my wife points out to me, she goes, that's a good point, isn't it? And I said, that's a great point. I wrote it down. I said, I'm going to make sure I mention that. That the same government in corporate America who does this to us with our food, we're supposed to just follow their word with the vax. It cracks me up how most of the people who got vaccinated think there should be choice. Those people who get vaccinated who don't think there should be a choice crack me up how they're just lock, stock, barrel following the old corporate health care line. We'll see what happens to them. I will guarantee you they'll be calling us wanting to sue for what adverse things happened to them years down the road. I predict that vaccination is going, this vax issue will lead to more litigation, big class action litigation than ever before. Bigger than the tobacco companies, bigger than the opiates, bigger than everything. It's coming. You just watch. Now, I want to get in the weeds of the litigation. September 22nd, at 1 o'clock is the hearing for the St. Elizabeth case in Judge Bunning's court. We have no idea how Judge Bunning might rule. However, we're confident it's our best case, and Alan Statman will be arguing it for us. He's the lawyer that tries the Durrani cases for us, and he wins them all. He is our lead singer in the band. He's like 64 years old, been around the block a long time. He is going to argue that for us. As I've explained to everybody, we might as well let that hearing happen before any other hearing. Why? We want to win the first one. We want to win the first one. Now, along those lines, for all of you that work at Children's, Tri-Health, Christ, UC, and Mercy, I have some news for you. And here is the news. On Friday, remember I told you Friday there was going to be a conference call? Well, that conference call happened at 2:30. Representing Deters Law was Jim Moss, who happens to be my first cousin. 1 year older than me. My first cousin's been with the firm for a long time. Very experienced in federal court. He handled the conference call for us because Alan Statman was in a Durrani trial. That case against those hospitals is filed in federal court and was before Judge Timothy Black. On that conference call, Jim Moss reports back that there is absolutely no question in his mind that Judge Black is against us, and Judge Black will dismiss that case. He will not grant the injunction. No way, no how. Now, after delivering that shocking news to you, I'm going to brighten your day. I also want to point out this. Judge Black is a Barack Obama appointment from 2010. Judge Black is the same federal judge who kept Tracy Hunter from prison for a long, long time. He is a die-hard Democrat. No question about it. So my speculation is there's no question that Judge Black thinks everybody should be vaccinated no matter what. Judge Black, on a conference call with Jim Moss and all these other lawyers from these other law firms, you know what he wanted to talk about? He wanted to ask if Glenn Fagan, he mispronounced his name too, he called him Glenn Fegan, whether he practices law in Cincinnati. Now, Glenn Fagan, the owner of Deters Law, who has his own other office in Cleveland, who is my dear friend, the cousin of my first wife, Glenn Fagan has an Ohio license and can go anywhere in the state, including owning our law firm, which tries cases all day long in Hamilton County in the Durrani litigation and handles lots of other cases. So Judge Black insults Glenn Fagan right out of the gate by questioning whether he practices in Cincinnati. Then Judge Black questioned who wrote the complaint. Like that matters. What is that? That's a backhanded shot at me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the American jury in Bulldog Nation, there was like 5 lawyers, 10 nurses, me, and a bunch of other people that wrote that complaint. I'm allowed to draft. I'm allowed to do anything but sign a plea and show up in court. The bottom line is that he took a shot at me. Okay? Then here is the punchline that ought to make you angry as hell. Judge Black says he's not going to have a hearing. He told them to respond today. We get a reply on the 16th, and his quote, exact quote per Jim Moss was, "I'll rule expeditiously." I asked Jim, I said, "Jim, what do you think?" Oh, Eric, he's against us and he's going to toss the case. And he was anxious to toss the case with no hearing. Think about that. Judge Bunning's giving us a hearing. This guy isn't even going to give us a hearing. So here's what happened. Glenn Fagan, Bob Winter, Jim Moss, yours truly, Alan Statman, we all caucused, and guess what was decided? It was decided we would be stupid fools to allow that hearing to go forward when we know he's going to. By the way, when we filed the cases in Hamilton County before they got removed to federal court, a very liberal judge named Jennifer Branch was scheduling it for a hearing. A very liberal judge named Judge Triggs was scheduling it for a hearing. They were even going to schedule it for a hearing. This guy wasn't even going to schedule it for a hearing, and he was going to dismiss the case. He was going to dismiss the case. Now, we contacted 2 representatives of the group that filed the case. One is connected to Children's Hospital. One is connected to St. Elizabeth Medical Center that was part of the antitrust case. We explained to them, because we couldn't contact all those people, we explained to them what was going on, and as representatives of the group, here's what happened, here's what we think we should do. Both of those representatives said, hell yes, dismiss that damn case. Don't let him rule on that sucker, because he's going to rule against us. So the case got dismissed. Now here's the good news for all of you. The wonderful news that's going to cheer you all up. We have plenty of other plaintiffs from those hospitals that weren't part of that, okay? We're going to refile in Hamilton County for plaintiffs as part of the class. It'll apply to all of you. So if you're at Children's, Tri-Health, Christ, Good Sam, Children's or Mercy, you're still okay. We still are going to have time. We're going to refile it tomorrow. And guess what we're going to do? We're not going to have any federal claims in there, so they can't remove them to state court or federal court. We're going to make sure that this stays in front of a Hamilton County common pleas judge. We literally don't care who it is. We just know it won't be Judge Timothy Black. And in front of that judge, they'll set a hearing, we're very confident, that'll probably be, no doubt, after September 22nd, right? Because September 22nd is early next week. So there's plenty of time. So I want to stress to all of you, we're looking out for you. And I will bet every single one of you will say, good job. Because think about it, folks. If we didn't, we know we're going to lose. Why would we do that? By the way, that was part of the discussion. Part of the discussion was, do we just let him rule and live with it? We couldn't do that. We couldn't do that. So you're all still alive, and guess what? Judge Bunning is going to decide September 22nd. We'll have lawsuits filed for all of you again, and another judge in Hamilton County will be able to decide before October 1st. So do not run out and chicken out and get your vax. Hang tight. By the way, these representatives, we talked to them, we said, you all understand that we want to try to win the first one. And they said, yes. And you understand that if we win the first one, that could help us with the other ones. And they said, hell yes. And you know, if we lose the first one, that's going to hurt us with the others. Hell yes. I mean, there's no question about it. Judge Black wanted to be the first ruling, it was going to be against us. And ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, I want to let you know that I'm going to keep this professional. Okay, I'm going to keep it professional. But I just want you to know that as far as Judge Black goes, he is a public figure. He might be a federal judge. But just like goes on in this political world today, the court system today is political as hell. All the rulings against Trump, all the stuff that was said by these judges about Trump was just so bogus. And Judge Timothy Black is one of those. I could say much, much more. I know much, much more about Judge Timothy Black. But I'm not going to say any more than what I'm saying right now. We don't want him. It's unfair to you. And that move's been made. Ladies and gentlemen, American jury and Bulldog Nation, it blows me away how anybody in this country could look down upon a healthcare worker who doesn't want to get a questionable vaccination and is trying to be forced to have that vaccination. It disturbs me. It is like, well, I know I'm like all you guys. What the hell is going on here? Some more things. We are filing, I got it right here. By the way, the girl who does the filing is back. We are filing today, Dayton Children's Hospital, Kettering Health, Premier Health, Alliance Health, Miami Valley, Nationwide Children's. Now, we're just getting started. We are finalizing the VA. We're finalizing all the colleges. We're finalizing the other healthcare. We begin finally, and I apologize, it's supposed to be last week, but we're going to start filing lawsuits anywhere and everywhere. I also want to point out something. On his mandate, and I said this, but I want to, those that didn't watch it, the mandate that Biden issued, it's not going to happen. Why? The United States Senate, the Republicans in the United States Senate, and I'm sure there'll be some Democrats too, like Manchin, isn't going to let that happen. In addition to that, the governors in our states aren't going to let that happen. And for all of you guys that you think that mandate applies to you, even DeWine spoke against it, and Yost is going to file something, I'm sure. There's no question that David Cameron, the Republican AG in Kentucky, will file something. So don't worry about those federal mandates. The attorney generals and the U.S. senators and Republicans are going to take care of that. I anticipate they're going to do something with the military. By the way, I've said this over and over again. We're going to help all of you. If we have to file something with the military, we will. We're waiting. Each day goes by, we're waiting to see, hey, come on, is somebody on the national level going to file something on these things? But we have time. I know a lot of you think time's running out. Just so you know, judges are so used to scheduling hearings quick to hear injunctions. You can file it on one day, and if you need to have a hearing the next day, judges do it. They're used to this. It's the way the court functions. So just to let you know, the fact that this is September the 13th, trust me, that's a long time in the litigation world. Long time. Remember the advice. Apply for all the exemptions. Apply, apply, apply. By the way, our litigation is helping, aren't they? Mercy's moved their date. TriHealth has moved their date. Children's hospitals granting those religious exemptions, aren't they now? There's more than one way to skin a cat. It all helps. It all helps. I just want to say, email me if you got any questions if I didn't answer. I think we've responded to all of them. I can't thank you enough. Children's Hospital yesterday, 8 people. 8 people. How about the Bengal Stadium? Bengal Stadium, you can file in, no mask, no vax mandated, but if you got 100 workers, you have to. Why? The NFL is part of the American Communist 10. The NFL gets special treatment because they own Sunday. Think about that. P&G ranks #1 amongst Ford's top employers. This is in the Cincinnati business career. You're going to love this. In Cincinnati-based companies, Mercy Health 29, TriHealth 36, Christ 61, University of Cincinnati 95, and Kentucky St. East 42. Forbes top. What the hell did they base that on? Right? Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, I cannot thank you enough for your trust in us. We're not letting you down, man. You see how the legal... By the way, our enemies get to watch this. It's the only way we can communicate to all of you in a public way, so we don't care. Everything we say, we don't care that the enemies see it. But think about it. The enemies watch these videos, but we don't care. Thank you for that bond. I tell you right, it was almost emotional. It wasn't almost, it was emotional for me. The love that you shared with me at Freedom Fest. I give a damn about you, sincerely. So ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, we're just going to keep legal maneuvering till we win. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.